So here we are, a little bit of a guide to bringing back some intimacy when you're on a fertility journey, because that can be one of the big problems between couples. You know, you're starting out and you're breeding, if you like, or your desire to breed is because you found the person that you want to create a joint entity with, and then by the process of trying to create this new little person, the connection that brought you together to want to do this can be put under strain. And so intimacy, just by the very nature, can turn into a bit of a chore, okay? And what we don't want is that disconnect. We don't want that disconnect between the two of you. You know, we want you to feel amazing, like you're in this journey together, which you absolutely are, but sometimes it's difficult to feel it. So one of the things that I'll often suggest is that you have one night a week and it's absolutely no baby talk, okay? So it's a bit like a date night, if you like, you know, bringing you back together. So you just focus on being the two of you. So whether that is that you are talking about, I don't know, anything random on TV, or if you go out and you actually make the effort to have this as a date night, or you cook a nice meal, or you know, whatever it is that you're doing, it's just a no fertility talk, no desperation talk. It is literally, this is the two of us tonight and we're focusing on each other. Because honestly, it can make a huge difference just that one night a week. Because if you think about it, that's only a couple of hours out of your week, but it just brings you back to who you were when you first met together. Which brings me on to my second point, which is make a connection beyond trying. Because, you know, there's nothing worse for either of you at, you know, some point than getting the call, okay, it's time, we've got to do it. Okay, and so if intimacy is only happening during ovulation, it feels transactional for both of you. And that's not why people get into relationships. There are situations where if you want transaction, honestly, you can have it, and that's not why each of you are with the other one. So it's important to think about that connection and carving out time. So whether that is for non-sexual affection or things like cuddling, holding hands, I don't know, just flirting with each other in the kitchen while you're cooking dinner, giving each other a massage, going back to that date night that we talked about with zero expectation of anything at the end of it. It is literally just the two of you carving out time for each other and having fun and laughter and that reconnection, that bringing that playfulness back into your relationship, because it was there at one point, otherwise you wouldn't want to share the rest of your life with this individual. And so that brings me back to now the third point, which is bring some playfulness into the bedroom. So okay, there may be a certain time when we have to be doing it, but how about putting a red light on so that when he gets in, he knows it? Or sending him, I don't know, a text message without today's the day, but I don't know, like a cheeky message that he understands that's what you mean. It's like a talk just between the two of you. What we're trying to do is to rediscover the joy of you guys being together. So whether that's trying something new in terms of how this situation creates itself, or just bringing some humor to the experience, just focusing on pleasure and let the rest of it be. Lean into what makes intimacy enjoyable for the both of you. And sometimes that does require us to just sit back and think, okay, well, what is that in this situation? What exactly is that? Because we're all changing as human beings anyway, regardless of what it is that we're dealing with in everyday life, if you want to call it that. So perhaps you could surprise your partner with a romantic setup or a playlist or some candles or even a love note in their lunchbox at lunchtime. You know, just something that kind of takes this back to the basics of a relationship, like it was when you were first dating, so that you're shifting the goal back onto connection, because the rest of it will come anyway. So why not focus on that? Hopefully this helps. Give me your ideas below.